So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a very short span of time within 30 minutes so that you get to cover your current affairs on a daily basis, but you don't have to spend your entire day just reading the newspaper. Okay? Now, just watching this lecture would be job half done because just after watching this lecture, you need to revise this lecture as well. Because revision helps in consolidating these current affairs in your memory. Otherwise, you'll quickly forget them. Now, you can revise these current affairs from the notes provided by us, and these notes are available on our Telegram platform. Now, the link to our Telegram platform is given in the comment section below this video. You just have to click on that link. It will take you to our Telegram channel, and from there, you can download the notes for this lecture. You can also visit our website or download our app from Android Play Store. Okay? All right. Now, let's begin today's discussion. But first, let's take a look at what topics we are going to cover today. Okay, so let's take a look at the list of topics for today's lecture. Number one, we are going to be talking about ISRO's 100th launch. Recently, ISRO launched a satellite from its rocket, and that marked a century for ISRO. That was ISRO's 100th launch. Since its establishment, this was ISRO's 100th launch. So, it was a cause for celebration, especially for ISRO. And India needs to feel proud of ISRO's achievement. Okay, achievements, I should say that. Okay, so we'll talk about this. Then, recently, Tripura government has signed an MOU on Bashini Platform. So, what is this Bashini Platform? We'll talk about this. Then, recently, NASA has discovered an exoplanet, and it has found that jet streams or planetary winds on this exoplanet called WASP 127b. The planetary winds on this planet has speed more than the speed of sound, 30,000 kilometer per hour. Okay. Now, jet streams on WASP 127b is another news item that we'll discuss. Then, recently, a Chinese startup called DeepSeek has taken the world by storm. It has overtaken ChatGPT as far as number of downloads, app downloads are concerned. And because of the success of DeepSeek, well, stock prices of all the tech companies, most of the tech companies dependent on AI in USA, well, their stock prices have tumbled. Now, DeepSeek AI model uses reinforcement learning model. So what is this reinforcement learning model? We'll talk about this. And in the end, we'll talk about the humanitarian crisis in Darfur, which is in Sudan. All right. So these are the 5 topics that we are going to discuss in today's lecture. Let's discuss them one by one, starting with topic number 1, which is ISRO's 100th launch, a very proud moment for us Indians. With the first launch of 2025, the ISRO achieved the significant milestone of having carried out 100 launches. Now, this 100th launch happened through a rocket called GSLV F-15, and the satellite that was launched on this rocket was called NVS-02. It is a navigation satellite, basically. Okay. Now, before discussing or before entering into a discussion about GSLV F-15 and NVS-02, we need to have a little bit of historical background of ISRO. Okay. The thing is that Indian space program started in 1962, but it did not start with ISRO. ISRO was established in 1969, but Indian space program started in 1962. Because in 1962, government formed Indian National Committee for Space Research under Department of Atomic Energy. Okay. And then in 1969, ISRO was formed, and then ISRO took all the functions of this committee, and this committee became defunct. In fact, earlier the job of space research was with Department of Atomic Energy, but later a separate Department of Space was formed, which undertook all the functions related to space research. Now, in the 100 launches so far, the space agency ISRO has placed around 548 satellites in orbit. Along with that, it has carried out various planetary missions like Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan, mission Aditya L1, right? There are many planetary missions, and ISRO has put 548 satellites into orbit through these 100 rockets. Now, ISRO has so far developed 6 generations of rockets or launch vehicles. Okay, I'll name these rockets one by one. Okay, so ISRO has so far developed 6 generations of rockets. The first rocket that ISRO developed back in 1970s was Satellite Launch Vehicle. Okay, then After making some upgrades, ISRO launched augmented satellite launch vehicle. Then after that, ISRO developed Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, PSLV. And PSLV was named the workhorse of ISRO because most of ISRO's satellites were launched through PSLV. PSLV has been the most successful uh, launch vehicle for ISRO. Okay, that is why it was called the workhorse of ISRO. Then, well, GSLV, GSLV, Geosynchronous Launch Vehicle was launched. All right. Then it was a little bit of a heavier rocket than PSLV. So GSLV was a little bit heavier than PSLV. Plus, the capacity of GSLV was also more than PSLV. GSLV could carry heavier satellites along with it as compared to PSLV. Then some upgrades were made to GSLV, and another launch vehicle was developed, which was called GSLV Mark III or LVM3. Okay. Then ISRO developed small satellite launch vehicle for small satellites. Okay, a separate rocket for small satellites. Clear? Now, of these 6 generations of rockets, SLV and ASLV have become defunct. These were older versions. ISRO no longer uses them. Okay. ISRO currently uses these 4 versions: PSLV, GSLV, GSLV Mark III, LVM3, SSLV. Okay. The current NVS-02 satellite was launched through GSLV F-15 rocket. Okay, just remember this. ISRO has so far developed 6 generations of launch vehicles. Okay, of these 6, 4 are still in use. Clear? Makes sense? Okay. Now let's move forward and let's talk about NVS-2 or Navik. Okay. Now, NVS-2 is one of the 5 replacement satellites for the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, also referred to as Navik, navigation with Indian constellation. You've heard about GPS, right? Now, GPS provides navigation service. You order something from Swiggy or Zomato, you can watch where your rider is. Whenever you order a cab from Uber, you can watch where your rider is. In fact, you can switch on GPS services and reach anywhere. You can switch on Google Maps and you can reach anywhere. Right? Now, these navigation services, these timing services are called GPS, Global Positioning System. And how are they available for you? Well, GPS is available because NASA has launched 24 satellites in orbit around Earth. And these 24 satellites keep track of you when you're moving on a road. They keep track of the time taken by you to go from one place to another. And these 24 satellites together provide Global Positioning System, GPS. All right. Now, the thing is that India wanted to create its own navigation system. Okay. But naturally, in case there is a war, and if India is not good friends with USA, then USA might withdraw its GPS facilities from our weapon system because our missiles run on GPS. They navigate through GPS, right? So for strategic advantage, India required or India needed its own navigation system. Therefore, India launched Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, IRNSS. Under this system, India launched 7 satellites. Instead of 24, India launched 7 satellites because IRNSS provides navigation to India only. Okay, GPS provides navigation to the entire world. IRNSS provides navigation services, or the coverage of IRNSS is India and 1500 kilometers to the sides of India. Okay, 1500 kilometers around India. So this is the only region that is covered by IRNSS. Okay, now for IRNSS to work, it needs 7 satellites. Those 7 satellites had been launched, but those 7 satellites are going to retire soon. So we need to launch new satellites to replace them. That is why NVS-02 was launched. It is one of those satellites that will replace the existing IRNSS satellites. By the way, IRNSS is also called Navik, navigation with Indian constellation. Okay. Now, this new satellite that is going to replace the existing 7 satellites has some extra features also. First of all, these new satellites are heavier with longer life. They have their own indigenously developed atomic clock. So along with positioning services, it is going to provide good timing services also. Plus, these satellites are going to communicate with the ground stations to provide navigation services. Okay. Now this communication will happen in L1 band, third frequency L1 band. This is another special feature because GPS signals come through this L1 band, and now IRNSS would also be compatible with GPS compatible devices. Like our mobile phones are GPS compatible. Now they will be IRNSS compatible also because these satellites use L1 band for communication, which is used by GPS as well. Clear? Makes sense? Okay. Now it's not just India and USA that have these navigation facilities. Okay. But India is the only country in the world with a regional navigation system. Okay. India provides only regional navigation system, Indian subcontinent and around. Japan also provides regional navigation system, but it does not have its own satellite network. It actually uses GPS signals and augments them. So Japan's regional navigation system is called quasi-zenith satellite system. The 4 satellites launched under QZSS actually relay GPS signals. Okay, so India and Japan are the only 2 countries with their own regional navigation system. Okay, whereas India does not use GPS, Japan does. Okay. Apart from India and Japan, there are 4 other countries who have their own navigation systems, but their navigation systems are global. Okay. GPS by USA, GLONASS by Russia, Galileo by European Union, and Beidou by China. All right. Now let's move forward. Now, I just mentioned to you that ISRO has so far developed 6 launch vehicles or 6 generations of launch vehicle. Okay. The heaviest rocket that ISRO has, which is capable of carrying very heavy satellites, is LVM-3. But ISRO is planning quite like extremely ambitious future missions. Okay, like ISRO wants to launch a rocket that will collect some samples from moon and return them back to earth. ISRO is going to launch a mission to Venus called Shukrayan. ISRO is ready to set up its own space station. All right, these are very ambitious missions, and therefore ISRO requires a heavier rocket than LVM-3, and therefore ISRO is currently developing NGLV, next generation launch vehicle. Okay, currently, LVM-3 has the capacity of carrying 8 tons of satellite or 8 tons of payload. NGLV will be capable of carrying 30,000 kgs of satellites. Okay, LVM can carry 8,000 kgs. NGLV will carry 30,000. Okay, it will be 91 meters tall. LVM-3 is 43 meters, so almost double the height of LVM-3. It will have a reusable first stage. That means this rocket won't destroy itself. It can be used again and again, thereby reducing the cost of launch. Plus, for this new rocket, a new launch pad is being developed at Satish Dhawan Space Center, which is the only space port India has. Okay, a new launch pad is being developed at Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. All right, so this is under development, NGLV. All right, okay. With that, we complete ISRO. Now let's jump to our second topic of the day, which is Bashini Platform. So what is in the news? So Government of Tripura has signed an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with Digital India Bashini Division, which is under Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Okay. Now what is Bashini Platform basically? Bashini Platform is an AI translation platform. Okay. It can translate your message into 22 scheduled languages of India. Okay, and it is AI enabled. Now, the reason why Tripura government has signed an MOU with Digital India Bhashini Division is because Tripura government wants to deliver its services in local languages. All right. Now, this Bhashini platform would come in handy because the government orders are generally in English, but most people do not understand English. So, all government orders, government service delivery can be made in local language through this Bhashini platform. All you have to do is just use this Bhashini platform to translate your message. Okay, so governments can use it, people can use it. Okay, there are apps. Bhashini has an app on both iOS and Android phones. All right. Now about Bhashini, Bhashini is India's AI-powered language translation program designed to facilitate seamless communication and internet accessibility in 22 Indian languages. It uses voice-based technology to overcome language barriers and promote digital inclusivity. It was developed by Digital India Bhashini Division under Electronics and IT Ministry. Now, what are the main features of this platform? Real-time translation, quick translation, speech to text, text to speech, and voice to voice translation. You will be speaking in Hindi and this will translate into English. You will be speaking in Telugu and this will translate it into English. Okay, voice to voice translation is also possible. All right. Okay. Now, what are some of the special features of this Bhashini platform? Well, it is already integrated with government platforms like CM Helpline, eVidhan, eDistrict, so that people who are not aware of English can access these government services in their local languages. All right. Plus, there are various initiatives like Suno India, okay, a podcast platform where anyone can upload their podcast, Likho India for poets and all. Okay. Now, this Bhashini platform will be integrated with these. Okay. Now, when it will be integrated with these, so if you have uploaded a podcast in English on Suno India, by using Bhashini platform, that podcast will be automatically translated for the users in Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Hindi, Punjabi, Kashmiri. Okay. Plus, the data generated on these platforms, Suno India, Likho India, can also be used to train the AI for translation. Okay. Plus, it uses open source AI, which can be used by different developers or different companies for themselves. Okay. Android and iOS apps for easy access and participation. Now, why was Bhashini developed? Well, these were the reasons. To bridge the digital divide, literacy divide, provide digital services in Indian languages, and create AI models for innovation in AI. All right. Okay. Now let's move forward to our third news item, which is jet streams on WASP 127b. Now look, WASP 127b is an exoplanet. What are exoplanets? Planets that do not belong to our solar system. They revolve around their own stars. Okay, they don't revolve around our sun. They have their own star systems. These planets are called exoplanets. And what are jet streams? Okay, on Earth, in the upper atmosphere, there are these fast flowing winds. Okay, they travel with the speed of 442 kilometers per hour. They are called jet streams. Now, the thing is, astronomers from NASA have observed jet stream winds on this exoplanet WASP 127b, and the speeds detected of these jet streams was 33,000 km per hour, more than the speed of sound. That means these winds have supersonic speeds. Now, with this discovery, exoplanet WASP 127b becomes the planet with fastest planet winds ever recorded. Okay, now jet streams on Earth travel at 442 km per hour. But do you know, jet streams of Earth are not the fastest in our solar system. The fastest jet streams in our solar system are found on Neptune, 2000 km per hour. But with the discovery of WASP 127b, well, this is the fastest speed of jet streams recorded so far in history on any planet. Okay. Now, you know what jet streams are. Okay. You know what an exoplanet is. Okay. You know which planet has the fastest jet stream speed in solar system. That's Neptune. Okay. Now let's talk about this exoplanet called WASP 127b. Okay. Popularly, scientists call this planet as hot Jupiter. Okay. Because it is a gaseous planet, much like Jupiter. But it is larger than Jupiter, as you can see over here. It is 30% larger than Jupiter. But because it is mostly a gaseous planet, it is composed mainly of hydrogen and helium. Despite its bigger size, it is 16% the mass of Jupiter. That means it is lighter than Jupiter, despite being larger than Jupiter, because it is mostly made up of light gases, hydrogen and helium. Its atmosphere is mostly composed of hydrogen and helium with some amounts of carbon dioxide and water vapor. Now, do you know that Moon and Earth are in a tidal locked position? That means they both, I mean, you never get to see the other side of Moon. Okay? The way Moon rotates and revolves around the Earth, only one side of the Moon is visible from the Earth. The other side, also known as the dark side of Moon, is permanently invisible to us on Earth. Similarly, this planet is tidally locked with its star, so that one side of this planet continuously faces that star and the other side never faces that star. So you have permanent day on one side and permanent night on the other. And because this side is facing the star, it is extremely hot, temperatures are very high, Here temperatures are extremely cold because sunlight never reaches here. Okay, this is known as tidal locking. Clear? That's all you need to know about this planet. All right. Now let's move forward with our fourth news item, which is reinforcement learning model. So DeepSeek, a Chinese AI startup, has gained global attention for its innovative reinforcement learning model. The name of the AI model is called R1, which demonstrates advanced reasoning capabilities at a fraction of cost of similar models from US companies like OpenAI. Now, OpenAI has created ChatGPT. It has created other learning models as well. Okay. Now, R1 is superior to these models developed by OpenAI. Plus, R1 is way cheaper to build than the models created by AI. That is why this new development by DeepSeek has taken the world of AI by storm. And it has overtaken ChatGPT as the most downloaded app. Okay. Because of this, people are gravitating towards DeepSeek because this AI model is better. R1 is better than OpenAI's models, and R1 is cheaper than OpenAI's models. That is why the share prices of OpenAI, Nvidia, and many other tech companies, AI-based tech companies, have started to decline because of the arrival of DeepSeek. Okay. Now, DeepSeek uses a reinforcement learning model called R1. Now, what are reinforcement learning models? Basically, you train a machine on data sets, but you train the machines in such a way that they are being trained along with a feedback. Okay. So the training module of this artificially intelligent machine is such that it is being given rewards or penalties. Okay. If it gives a correct answer, reward. If it gives a wrong answer, penalties. All right, very simple. So the algorithm is such that it has a feedback loop which provides rewards and penalties. Now, the aim of the training algorithm, machine learning training algorithm, is to maximize rewards. And because of this feedback loop, it is called reinforcement learning model, which is not used by OpenAI. Now, this learning model is better plus more cost effective. Plus is lighter, can even work on small smartphones. Okay, that is why DeepSeek has become more popular than OpenAI. Okay, why is it better? Because of cost effectiveness, its efficiency and scalability. Because it is smaller and more efficient, it can run on normal smartphones also. All right, that's all you need to know about this news. Okay, though this is the most dominant news in newspapers these days, that Chinese startup has taken the world by a storm, especially the world of AI. But for your UPSC preparation and civil services preparation, you just need to know what is this model. You just need to know its name. Okay, reinforcement learning model. All right. And last, we'll come to our last topic of the day. Okay, in the end, and that last topic is humanitarian crisis in Darfur. Now, Darfur is a region in West Sudan, and this region has been in a civil war-like situation since 2003. Civil war erupted in 2003, and do you know what? That civil war in 2003 was popularly known as Land Cruiser War. Why? Because most of these militias used Land Cruiser as their vehicle to travel. Okay, that's why it was called Land Cruiser War. Now, this conflict has still continued. Now, recently, International Criminal Court prosecutor urged immediate action to address atrocities in Darfur region of Sudan. ICC is particularly worried over civilian targeting, that these militias are targeting civilians, and sexual violence towards women and girls. Now, who are the key players who are fighting in this war? Well, Sudanese government forces are fighting with Janjaweed, a militia organization, and then there are other rebel groups also who are fighting with the Sudanese government forces. All right. Now, ICC alleges that Sudanese government forces and Janjaweed militias, both of them are targeting civilians and targeting women and girls. Okay. That's why action needs to be taken. Clear? Make sense? Now, the thing is that there is one more peculiar feature of Darfur region. Okay. Do you know today there are two neighboring countries called Sudan and South Sudan? Okay, they are neighboring countries. But at one point of time, they were united. But the thing is that this united country of Sudan was ethnically divided. Why? Because North Sudanese people believed themselves to be of Arab origin and they practiced Islam. Whereas the Southern Sudanese believed themselves to be of ethnic African origin and they practiced Christianity. And there were extremely high ethnic conflicts between the two regions. That is why both these countries decided to separate. Okay, in 2011-12 only. Okay, but there was one region which bordered both these countries. Okay, Darfur region, which currently lies in Sudan but borders South Sudan. And Darfur also has a similar problem. It has some North Sudanese people, it has some South Sudanese people. And these people have been involved in an ethnic conflict for quite some time now, especially after 2003. Okay. Now, this Darfur region also borders the neighboring countries of Sudan, and that is why not just Sudan, but other neighboring countries like Chad, Libya, Central African Republic, South Sudan are also affected by this humanitarian crisis in Darfur because it has led to refugees pouring over to these neighboring countries, militias pouring over to these neighboring countries. So these countries are also affected. Okay. Now, this is all you need to know as far as this crisis is concerned. But you need to have some extra information about Darfur. So, as you can see on this map, this is Sudan. Western Sudan is Darfur. Okay. And it completely lies within Sudan. On the south, it's South Sudan, then Central African Republic, Chad, Libya, Egypt. Now, as you can see, that Darfur shares international border with Libya, Chad, Central African Republic, and South Sudan. That is why this conflict in Darfur has spilled over to these territories as well. All right. Now, you need to know some information, some extra information about International Criminal Court also. Okay. So let's talk about International Criminal Court. So it was established by an international agreement called Rome Statute in 1998. Its mandate is to investigate and try individuals who are accused of crimes against humanity. Okay, genocide, war, aggression, and all that. Its headquarters are in Hague, Netherlands. It has 123 members, but remember, China, Russia, Israel, India, and USA are not its members. Okay, now this court has 18 judges and each from a different member country elected to non renewable 9-year terms. All right, that's all. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And please do not forget to revise this lecture because revision is important. Otherwise, you'll quickly forget these current affairs. So please revise them. Okay. And on that note, I'll be signing off. Thank you so much, everyone.